girls and boys, welcome to another episode of your daily show, Fairy Tales. You know, a fairy always brings us a tale, and a tale is never lost on us. So how about you join me on a new story and a new tale that's been brought to us by a fairy. Our story today is called The Grimworst Ghosts. The Grimworsts were different from other families. They liked dark dungeons and slimy cellars where no light ever reached. They liked cobwebs and spiders and things that go bump in the night. Because the Grimworsts weren't ordinary people, they were ghosts. In a ancient tower in the middle of a very old city, the Grimworsts happily hunted the draughty stairwells and creepy corridors. They loved nothing more than to scare the socks off any visitors who came. They especially liked frightening children because they seemed to scream longer and louder than adults. In fact, the louder the children screamed, the funnier the Grimworsts found it. All day long, they lurked silently in the shadows, waiting for their next victim to pass by. However, the mischievous ghost family had a problem. Igor, the youngest ghost, weren't very good at frightening people. He just couldn't get the hang of it. His parents were very worried. "Do a blood-curdling scream," said Lord Grimworst one day. So Igor opened his mouth as wide as he could, but for some reason, the tiniest squeak "ooh" sound came out. Lord and Lady Grimworst looked at each other and very worried fashion. "Really, Igor," said his mother, "what is the point of being a ghost if you can't scare people?" Lord Grimworst stood up. "A really good blood-curdling scream sounds like this," he said, opening his mouth so wide you could see what he'd eaten for breakfast 300 years ago when he was still alive. "Oh!" he screamed. The rats in the dungeons ran for cover and the bats dropped from the ceilings. Igor put his fingers in his ears. His father's scream was really deafening, and Igor couldn't really bear it. "I can rattle my chains," said Igor. "They are scary." He gave his chains a good shake, but they just sounded like a baby shaking its rattle. "Oh dear," said Lady Grimworst, disappearing through the dungeon walls. "Whatever are we going to do with you, Igor?" Lord Grimworst looked at the clock. "Some children are coming to see the dungeons this afternoon. Let's give them the fright of their lives," he said with a distracted crackle. Everyone got ready for the hunting. Igor's brother, Oswald, slipped into his costume with bloodstains down the front. "I like scaring children," he crackled. Edmund put on a black hood with slits for eyes. He picked up his executioner's axe, swung it high in the air, and waved it around. "Come on," said Lord Grimworst. It's time to get to our places. So, what are the places? And what did Lady Grimwurst do? We would know after the break. So, we know that all the kids of the Grimwurst family ghosts were putting on their costumes. Also, Lady Grimwurst put on her lady about to be bloodiest costume, practiced one of her spine-chilling wails, and whole family moved off in the direction of the dungeons. The dungeons were dark and dank, and eerie shadows slung in corners. Lord Grimwurst suddenly pointed at a rotting old empty barrel. "This is what I want you to do, Igor," he said. "I want you to hide in this big wooden barrel, and when the children come in, I want you to pop your head up and give them a nasty fright." Igor's father lifted him into the barrel. "Where will I be?" "In the barrel." "And where will you be, father?" "We're going to terrify the two guides further down the passages," said Lord Grimwurst, with a happy and wicked smile. Lady Grimwurst kissed Igor. "Be my spookiest son, darling," she said. Igor settled down and waited. It was comfy and the barrel, but a little too warm for Igor. He liked things nice and chilly. After a few minutes, Igor's eyes started to close. He was almost asleep when he heard noises. "Ugh, this is horrid," said a girl's voice. "It's creepy," said another voice. "Imagine being imprisoned down here." "What are those rings on the walls for?" asked the boy with glasses. "Prisoners changed there long ago and then left to rot," said the teacher. The children looked around. The dungeon was sinister and they didn't like that way. It made them shiver round down their spines. Inside the barrel, Igor stood up behind the classmates. He blew his cold, ghostly breath over them. The children felt the hairs standing up on their arms and their backs and their necks. But they didn't know why. Igor slunk down into the barrel and then jumped up. Suddenly, "Woo!" he wailed and ducked down again. Everyone looked to see at him. "What was that, Adrian?" asked the teacher, looking at a boy with spiky hair. "Oh, Miss Jones, it wasn't me," said Adrian, glancing nervously around. Igor rose up again. "Ooh," he moaned, right in front of the children. Their mouths fell open and their eyes nearly popped out of their heads. Adrian's spiky hair stood up so high. He looked like a hedgehog. The children all screamed at once. Igor was surprised. He fell back into the barrel and banged his chin. "Oh!" he cried with a long, mournful moan. "Oh!" The sound echoed in the barrel and seemed to move all around the dark dungeon. The children were rigid with fright. Then suddenly they started screaming again and made a mad dash for the door. "Wait! Wait!" called the teacher nervously, beginning to run after them. They didn't stop running until they were outside in the warm sunshine. Igor's family listened with glee from further down the passage. "What a terrifying screams!" said Lord Grimton. How marvelous! Lady Grimson put a big bandage on Igor's sour chin and got his favorite tin whistle for him to play. I think I'm getting the hang of being a proper ghost, he said. I'm looking forward to hunting tonight. After that, visitors to the old tower were more scared than ever. They said that they felt cold breaths of air that sent shivers down their spines and heard entire and eerie noises coming from the dungeons. Little did they know that at last Igor really had become a Grimworth ghost. How about we have a short break, girls and boys, and get back to our story.
Page 67. The peanut plant is unusual because its pods develop underground. For this reason, peanuts are often called ground nuts. Peanuts are nutritious food. There are more energy-giving calories in roasted peanuts than in the equivalent weight of steak.
That was it for today's story, girls and boys. How about you join me same time next time on a new story and a new tale on fairy tales.